So in today's video, I'm going to show you the thing that will actually truly grow your business and scale your company. And no, it's not some shiny software. It's not some magical way of doing things. It's just the way that scaled every company I've ever seen grow, scaling my company, scaling some of our clients' companies right now. I'm going to guess your sales pipeline either looks like one of these two. It either looks like the Sahara Desert, completely dead, nothing to be seen in sight, completely quiet, right? Nothing going on, or it looks like a complete gold mine, right? Like a complete gold mine that's thriving with opportunity, and there's honestly clients and sales left, right, and center. What the truth is that the same tools and softwares can achieve both outcomes, and this is what people, I believe, need to understand. It is not the tool and the software you're using that will give you the desired outcome. It's not the fact that you're using Instantly or you're using Clay that means you'll have a thriving pipeline or a completely dead pipeline. It's not the fact you're using Instantly or Apollo or Smart Lead that means you're going to get 20% more opportunities than the next. It's simply not the case. Any of these tools and softwares can lead to either outcome. Okay, that is the truth, because everyone's looking for a new way that maybe this tool or this software will maybe increase their efficiency by 20%, or help them find a new email that wasn't actually very easily accessible before through this new database. And in reality, all of this is shiny object syndrome. You need to get this in your head if you're trying to grow a company through outbound. All of this is shiny object syndrome. And that's why these companies are scaling and they're growing, and these softwares are, because they're leveraging the fact that you want to grow your company, and they are telling you this is the next big thing and the next big way to do it, right? This software. But in reality, it's the strategy and the approach that will do it. Because as I've said, the same tools, the same softwares can either have a completely dead pipeline of no opportunities, no sales coming in, no MRR, or a huge company, right? There's companies in, say, the lead gen space, for example, that are making hundreds of thousands every single month using the exact same software, right? And the exact same systems and the exact same lists and the same email addresses that companies that are making zilch, right? Absolutely zero. So what does this tell us? This tells us that the tools and the software used in the process is not the defining factor of the success of the process. There's something much, much more important, right? And that's what we can see is what we put into the system. The system will simply just act as a mechanism to scale, automate, and outsource this process. But what we have is a very simple system, right? Depicted by these emojis here. If you put rubbish in, you get rubbish out. If you put very, very good work in, then you're going to get very good stuff out. This is the simple truth broken down, because I've seen it time and time again. I've been in points where I was really desperately trying to scale my agency, desperately trying to grow. And I thought this new software that incorporates AI voice notes or, AI Loom videos is going to be the thing that completely transform my businesses and scales it to the next level. I've done that, and then guess what happened? It was looking like this. Crickets, right? Crickets for the next month. I thought, I can't believe it, I was expecting this to be plugged into my business, and the next month my sales would skyrocket. And now, guess what's actually happening? Our business is growing because we're doing the same things, using the same tools and software as everyone else, not getting shiny object syndrome, but sticking to it and mastering it so we can put good inputs in. Because as you see, it is not the tools and the software and the automation itself that makes a big difference. It's your ability to create good input. And this is what we've focused on. And what happens is every time you look to use a new tool and a new software, you instantly go back to the beginning phase of using that tool and software, i.e. bad inputs, right? So what I'm saying is the longer you use a tool and a software, the same one over and over and over and over again, you become more of an expert at generating inputs. And you become good at understanding what sort of inputs this system likes. What outputs is it going to generate from what sort of inputs? This is, these are things that you should do on Apollo. These are things that you shouldn't do on Apollo. Okay. And as you learn this insight, it's very valuable because it will help you go from this stage of not generating much results or many outputs from the system to generating lots and lots of outputs. So it's not about the system and the tool and the software itself. It's actually about your ability to create high performing and good inputs. Okay, and that's like the number one thing that I think everyone misses out on, because I was in this position, okay, because Because ultimately, I've just mapped out the whole sales process here, right? For majority of B2B agencies, if you're doing outreach, this is what the 5-step process of cold outbound would look like. Okay, you do X amount of outreach, you get X number of replies, you book X number of meetings, X number of meetings show up, and you get X amount of revenue or X number of clients closed. It's as simple as that. That's truly all you need to know if you're doing outbound for your agency or your business. This is how to grow it, these 5 steps. Now, what the tools and the softwares will do is potentially increase percentages and conversions at each stage of this pipeline. So from outreach to reply, you might get slightly more outreach. You might get slightly more replies if you're using a certain type of, as I mentioned, AI software or technology, but it's not going to completely transform your whole process. And it's not going to mean that you're putting better outreach into the system. So what's going to perform better? Something where you're doing 30 outreaches per day and you're converting the replies at 10%. So let me put some numbers in here just to put this into context. So if we do, say, 30 outreach per day, right? And maybe this one is getting a 10% reply rate, okay? Because it's, in fact, let's say 20% reply rate, because it's an AI system that is that's doing a voice note, it's doing a personalized Loom video, things like that, right? So 20% of 30, so we'll be getting 6 replies every single day. Okay, so that's like the next stage of the funnel. We'll be getting 6 replies every single day. Okay, now that's great. Now what we can do with that system, what this tells me is that I know exactly how many replies I'll get from how much outreach I'm doing, so I can scale the system. To get 20 replies a day, I'll need to do X amount of outreach, right? To get, or what we can do is look at other ways of doing the system. So if we're limited on, but what I think everyone wants to take away from this is that they want to make this number as high as physically possible, and which makes sense because you want to maximize conversions. But everyone's spending all of the 80% of their effort, 90% of their effort on trying to turn this 20% reply rate into a 21% reply rate, which might be done with a new software and a new tool. But who cares? In all honesty, you need to do more, and you need to put better inputs into it, right? So better inputs in this sense would simply be more outreach. The reason I know this is because I've seen all of the big players in the space do extremely high volumes of outreach to a big market. And that's how this works. The more you put out there, the more sales messages you do, the more cold outreach you do, the more cold calls you do, the greater success you will see. Okay, so I'd say it's much more. It's a much better use of your time to increase the number of inputs than focus on the specific mechanisms that might be able to increase your conversion rate at each stage of the pipeline ever so slightly. It still needs to be important, as in if you use a completely awful software, then it's not going to work, right? It has importance here, but the utmost importance is actually on the inputs. That's truly the thing that will make the difference here. Okay, that's why you need to focus on doing good inputs to get the outputs that you're after. Because it's very simple. The best way to get 12 leads a day is not trying to take reply rate from 20% to 40%, because in all honesty, that would probably be impossible. It's actually just to double the amount of outreach. Okay, so of course there's different markets where this would work better in than others. Sometimes if you have a very small market, you want to maximize conversion rates and you want to have an emphasis on doing this anyway. But for the most part, the truth and the reality is that you need to do more. You need to do better and more inputs. And that's actually going to drive you to the result. So it's not these fancy softwares, it's not these, AI driven crazy marketing gimmicks that are going to get you to like explode your sales process. I learned that the hard way because I tried all of them. And in all honesty, the most basic fundamental ones still work just as well as these new AI, ones with crazy systems and crazy workflows. But it's because I've mastered the inputs. Okay, and you can use the softwares that I use, but get better results, worse results, whatever it is. But it will be directly attributed to your level of input that you put into the system. This is what you need to be trained on. This is what you need to focus on: how to use the system, not what system to actually use in the first place, but how to use the system and how to use it to your advantage to grow your pipeline instead of constantly be in this position of trying to seek new things just as a shiny object to take you out of your current situation. because that's not the way to grow a long-term successful business. It's finding the system that does the job and then feeding that system in the best way possible. Okay. So I just thought I'd make that video basically recapping, going over the fact that you don't need this new shiny AI software, for example, and it's not going to transform your business. The thing that will is putting better inputs into the system itself, doing more outreach, making more dials, sending more emails, writing better scripts. All of the stuff that you put into the system is going to make so much more of an impact than the system itself. So I hope this video has been useful. If you're a recruiter and you're looking to scale your agency, then I've got a booking link below. You can schedule a time to speak with myself. If not, that's absolutely not a problem, but I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's giving you some insights on what you need to do for your agency if you're looking to make your pipeline look like this.